clients that we're doing it for can't believe it's happening.
Are you still with that first client?
Yes, she's making about 35
Fair enough.
Generated 100k in 100 days. We've done it again, but we've done it 50 days this time.
So Stephen, can you describe your background and why you actually started an OnlyFans management agency?
Yeah, man. So my background's mad. Like I've done every job, like literally every job. So I've worked in sales. Like I used to work for banks. I've sold phones. I sold tellies. And then I used to sell sandwiches, believe it or not. I was a top tier sandwich artist in Subway when I was younger as well. Like, used to be able to juggle knives and stuff in the shop. Guy didn't like that. And then sort of in my 20s I moved into like the sort of, I need to get a proper job. So I went to university, done a degree, and then I went to go and work in a sort of corporate space, just working everywhere, working in government, working for different companies for about 10 years. My specific background is I'm a statistician, so like I'm an improvement consultant by trade effectively. And I'm sort of getting tired of the glass ceiling had actually started to become visible to me, that you can, you know, that sort of path to ascension, like go to university, get a proper job, and then you'll be able to make all the money you need in life. And I started to see like the more money I made, the more money I lost just through pure taxation. And I was like, this is not right. So I sort of started looking for opportunities. I've always sort of had that looking for opportunities mindset, but never actually doing anything about it. And then I seen an opportunity in this space, looked at it for maybe a couple of months before I encountered you, and I was like, this does look very valid. It's something that I probably could make work. So I sort of started thinking about it, and then I obviously bumped into you on the internet, and I was like, nah, let's go.
Yeah, that's sick. What challenges would you say that you like was initially running into before taking the program?
So I had started the business up, and stuff was there, but there was a sort of, I describe it as like a lot of moving parts that were still opaque. I couldn't see through them. I couldn't understand how to actually join the bits together. So I don't understand, okay, this is where we start, this is the middle, this is what we do here, and this is the final product. But I could not join the bits together fully. I needed that extra piece of information, like you obviously about buying failures, like buying the mistakes of other people. Second, I had access to all those mistakes. The clarity of all the moving parts was there, and I was able to just press them all together and just be super lean about it, super efficient, and get things moving in the right way. Yeah,
it's like I said in our podcast the other night, like the only reason I've been able to move so quickly through life is because I buy the knowledge from other people who've taken their time and made the mistakes and make the fuck ups. And that way you can literally just speed up time. It's like the only way you can truly buy time in this life is to buy the knowledge from other people who've taken their time and just they've had all those lessons, all those mistakes. And especially like when it's someone like me as well, like obviously you're not only getting like my personal experience and my business partner's experience, but you're also getting like the hundreds of lessons from the students that we've taught. So it's like, it's all well and good, like you can learn all those lessons yourself and you can figure it out, but it's like, do you want it to take like 6 months or do you want it to take like 6 years? So like it makes a massive difference because like you are going to pretty much pay for the program either way. It's just you're either going to pay in time or in money. And I'd well rather pay in fucking money because that's abundant, where time is arguably our most valuable resource. So that's something that you need to try and find every way to speed up. And there's so many different ways you can do it when you got money. But yeah, that definitely like the biggest key I think is buying knowledge and having that growth mindset and not just having limiting beliefs of like, oh, it's a course, I am buying a course. Like, oh, if it's a course, like if he sells a course, he must be a scam. It's like, that's not true. Like, that's completely not true at all. So yeah, it definitely makes a massive difference. So why did you even decide to join the mentorship in the first place?
I knew that there was a business model there. So like I had started looking at Wi-Fi money generally and thinking, right, how can I move out of the business I'm in now, working for someone else, and set up something where I'm working for myself. And I'd started to look at various online models, like, you know, like Twitch and Rumble. What could I stream, for example, that's going to generate like a constant paying revenue, something that's stable, that I can measure, that I can predict. And I tried that for a bit. Like I used to do a lot of gaming and stuff, and I thought I'll get into that niche and I'll just do the same as everybody else and hope it works out. And it did not work out at all. Like, really struggled. And I mean, I did bang on that door for about 6 months. It's not like I gave up after 5 minutes. Like I was pretty invested in it, and it just didn't happen because it's a saturated market.
You just know, I think, don't you, when something's just not going to work out.
It's like, this is dead, so I need to look somewhere else. And one of the sort of things that I had in mind was like, it's so easy for women to make money online, so easy, and I'm not a woman.
Yeah.
So I was like, obviously, like no one's buying this, right?
Yeah.
So I started then looking at how do female influencers make money, and why is it different to men? And that's when I sort of started looking at the business, and I encountered the sort of OFM structure and its existence. I was like, right, this is interesting, because there's skills that I have historically, sales skills, marketing skills, process skills. How can I actually build a business and structure it properly and make it effective, and then apply that to another individual that doesn't know how that works?
Exactly.
So creating that two-way partnership, where it's like you've got somebody who's got a talent and ability to influence, who can get people to listen to what they're saying, which is not me, and then applying my business structural skills, giving them that administrative force, giving them that sort of, right, this is where you need to move next to be effective, you need to stay on track to do this, and then sort of building around them. So I knew it was there, I just couldn't, I couldn't tap into it initially, because I didn't understand where to start, how to sort of latch in. And I did try it, like I say, but it wasn't super effective for me until I started sort of talking to other people in the space. That networking was critical. Which obviously the mentorship provided, but you guys with depth of experience, and then speaking to other guys that were at different levels as well through it. That time, it was
being in like the competitive environment as well, I think makes a massive difference. Like everyone in like group was all like, you'd see someone do well and they would motivate everyone else, because they're like, well, this guy's in the exact same program as me, in the same position, we all started off in the pretty much like the same place with the same access to the same information. Why the fuck's he making 10k already and I'm only making $1,000 or $2,000? And then it would just motivate. I just seen it happen all the time. Like when I did my testimonial video with O'Neill, like the little case study video we did on YouTube, like he was saying that like Luca was massive motivation to him when he seen Luca make like 20 grand in his first ever month of taking the program, and then O'Neill went and did 10k in 14 days, and I was like, fuck, like it's mad.
I remember that actually happening in front of me, and I was, to be honest, I was right sacked off about it. I was like, what is happening here? Like, what am I doing wrong? I wasn't annoyed at them, I was more annoyed at myself, and in the right way. It's like, those guys, like, they've started at the same time as me here. I'm doing something incorrectly, because they are absolutely, they're making massive stacks of cash here. I'm doing something incorrect, and then I just sort of got myself together, and I was like, right, let's look at a new angle. And every time that happens, it happens to me all the time. Like, I see somebody doing really well, I'm happy for them, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, how can I do that better than them? How can I be effective in that way, or how can I take a new angle? And so that competitive environment was really effective for me. Definitely effective for me. I can see how it works for a lot of people.
It makes a massive difference. Like, I think in a sense it can even be better than just like one-on-one mentoring, because you're actually not just getting my insight, but getting all the other people and stuff, and it makes a massive difference, I think.
That trade-off of the mistakes that other people have made, like, people quite freely share the disasters they're having, like, oh, don't do this twice, by the way, sort of thing. Or I tried this trend and it's fallen flat down, like, but you had a clear plan about what was happening. Like, so my corporate background tells me that every meeting needs an agenda, right? If you go into a call and you don't have a structure, it's not a call. It should have been an email, right? And that was clear in the sort of structure of the whole course from start to finish. Like, right, this is what we're talking about this week, and next week we'll be talking about this, and here's the steps that we talked about this in this call. Take these away, so it's like an agenda inside an agenda. We've talked about this, here's an agenda for you for 5 days or 7 days or whatever. Go and deal with that. And then next week we're going to talk about that a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the next set of steps, and the same again. And that sort of flowed through, and that was clear to me at the start, and to be honest, quite impressive actually, because like most of the time when you see people sort of setting up online, they're generally quite, laissez-faire about it. They're quite sporadic. Let's just wing it and see what happens. But that structure that was in there was really solid, and sort of having access to the material back as well. But I can go and look at the previous calls, make sure they're recorded. Like if I missed a call because I had some stuff on, I couldn't make it. Having access to that recording was really useful. It was like, right, I can do it in my own time. I didn't get to answer the questions, or ask questions, but that's my loss. I wasn't there at that time. And I've lost out on that. But most of the questions I'm going to ask, other people are going to ask anyway. So I
think the thing is as well, that was like the first ever program we did. So like even for us, like that was quite mad you saying that. Like it definitely had a good structure in place, but like that was the first time we'd ever done a program, the first time we ever run mentoring. So even for us, it was more of like a learning experience of actually teaching it. It was like, right, we've done the business, we know it fucking works, but can we actually teach it and get others to replicate our steps and processes and systems and processes to do what we've done. And then seeing the first ever group do that well was like, holy shit, okay, like this is crazy. Like you obviously now making silly money. Luca within his first month doing 20k, O'Neill in 14 days making 10k, and there was a couple of other people as well just making like, it's like I'm ignoring them, but there was even other people making like 3-4k in there. And like that, even that, like I think if I had done that and there was people making that, I would have been happy. But seeing like the crazy results from the first ever mentoring was like crazy. And now, like obviously with the new program, it's way more fucking structured.
Well, yeah, like the new program is phenomenally structured by comparison. Like not to shit on the old one, but like, the old one, you can tell the old one looking at it now. You can tell the original one was your first one. Like you can tell. Whereas the new one, like access to the portal and stuff, how it's set up, like the way that the actual blocks are structured, it's structured in a more logical way for start to end of the business. Okay, this is the sort of these are the actual starting blocks. You need to do this stuff properly before you move on, bang bang, but all the way through. And I think that'll probably be beneficial to a lot of people coming on to really give them the best chance to succeed. Like some of the material in there, like obviously I've came on again, like just sort of to continue the relationship, but obviously because I see the value in getting more information as it's available, because I think 6 weeks versus 12 months is a big difference. A lot more information, and I think just in the stuff that I've seen so far in there that you've given us access to, like it's much deeper than the first one. There's a lot more time in it. Obviously the calls are every 2 weeks rather than a week, so there's more time for me to take away and have conversations with my team about it. This is what I was talking to Dylan about, talking to the guys about this is what I want to try next, and sort of take away our own ideas, and it's allowed for a lot more sort of creativity, and that's in the business for me, but the information itself is much stronger.
100%.
It's really solid.
Yeah, we just brain dumped, I think, everything that we ever had. And the good thing is as well, obviously we're just constantly like updating it as well. So like even like it's obviously in chapters now, right? So you got chapter 1 to 11, but like obviously then we're adding new chapters, so we're working on 3 different new chapters at the moment. There's also like a lot of just like evergreen business principles, which I think are really key in there as well, which made a massive difference. And not just showing you like the information, but actually then telling you the steps of like how you actually should implement it, not just like use a bunch of information, go and run the place. Like use a bunch of information and use exactly how to implement it. These are the steps you need to take to actually, like actually have success with the information you've got, blah blah blah. And it makes a big difference for everyone. And then not only that, but you've got obviously the documents, but then you've got videos explaining the documents as well. So if they are more visual learners, you've got that, plus then the actual live calls as well every 2 weeks. It makes a massive difference.
And I've really appreciated actually seeing that stuff. A lot of the stuff is stuff that I was doing. There's bits in there that's like, oh, actually, that's a good point. Let's bring that in as well. Yeah. I think the biggest strength of the business that I've built is that it is administratively sound. Like we are. I've managed to really take that sort of experience that I've had from my previous roles and build a really solid, like it sounds grim, but a really solid corporate structure where everybody has a function and a purpose, and everybody does the thing they're supposed to do rather than just run around trying to do stuff like, oh, let's just do something today. No, let's just do the thing we're supposed to do. Let's make sure there's a process for that so we can combat it when it happens again if something does go wrong, or even with the clients and stuff, we've got proper processes to help them move through stuff. We give them tools and technology to make it easy for them. And seeing that stuff included in the course, I'm like, there's just those solid business principles. This is all the stuff that that in this space in OFM. But this is how you actually run a business. That's kind of important.
Exactly.
Like,
there's a lot of shit out there. It's just like, just manage girls, take 50%, no structure. Everyone's just doing random shit they don't even have. It's just mad. Like the amount of people that didn't even know where an SOP was. Like when I included this, like I was talking to people and like about the program, and I was like, yeah, we've got our SOP templates and stuff in there, and they're like, fuck's an SOP? And I'm like, really? Like, what?
No.
Like, this
I
is
love
crazy.
maps. I've got process maps as well. Like, I'm on process maps that are inside the SOPs, visual SOP, and then written SOPs. Can't have too many documents, mate.
There's even like people didn't even know about like executive hatting. They didn't know about like org boards, like having an org board to show like the specific roles of specific people, and if for example like my CEO was to leave the agency, then the tasks will actually fall on me. So like I have a role, like I'm founder, right? Let's just say I'm founder, Jack's CEO, and then like Adam's operations manager, right? Let's just say Jack decides to leave. All the roles that Jax manages under him, like the executives and stuff, they will then technically fall on me. So until I find a replacement, and people don't even understand like how an org board works, how to structure that. So there's a lot of how to run. Like you could even like even if you decided to quit OFM, you could probably just take this course and just change it to wherever industry you're in. Like you don't even necessarily have to be. Obviously, it is an OnlyFans management program, but there's a lot of business principles in there that I think a lot of people would just find good in general. Yeah. Could you talk about the most valuable lessons that you think you've taken away in the last 6 months from the mentorship program and from what you've learned in the industry?
Easy questions, mate. Thanks very much. Speed, right? Speed and ferocity are the most valuable lessons I've taken away. This is not a slow business. This is a business where you have to run, and you have to run fast. I always sort of like looked at the sun, as it were, right? I'm staring at the sun. I need to go over there. This is what I need. Like, and that was always the sort of, why are we not doing this faster? Why are we not doing it better? Sort of thing. So I always sort of wanted to be that guy, but I also wasn't that guy in my professional life, because everything around me was dead slow. Like everybody's moving, you know. Well, let's do this project, and it should take like 2 days, and it's taking 4 weeks and stuff, or 6 months, God forbid. But like, yeah, learning how to move fast has been a big change in my life. Like learning how to prioritize properly. I mean, I had a really interesting conversation the other day about like, right, the one thing you need to learn to do is to pick up the right task at the right time and make sure you're prioritising.
Yeah.
I was always good at prioritising work, but never good at pivoting on work fast. And sort of a lot of the things in the sort of mentorship that we went through, it wasn't directly taught per se, but watching how you guys operated gave an insight into what you need to do to win at the game, basically. And it was like, right, this has happened now, but is it as important as fixing this or dealing with that or getting on that trend? But also time boxing it properly. I'm not going to spend all day on it. I'm going to spend, you know, half an hour on it or whatever.
I think a lot of people miss the fundamentals of a lot of key elements of the business. Like a lot of people have shaky foundations in a sense. A lot of people don't learn the fundamentals of business before like stepping into OnlyFans management, and they just try and do like black hat marketing. They just try and do like all these latest like tricks that are like fast fixes, and like it might work for like 2 weeks, they might make money, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it doesn't work anymore, I need to find something new, and then they don't make money, and it's like you'd be way better off like learning like foundational principles of like marketing and how to actually run the business and how to actually like create content that's going to go viral over and over again, rather than finding the new trending sound or the new trending thing and then copying that and doing that. It's like actually learn the fundamentals of the things that are going to last forever, like evergreen principles, and that way, once you've learned them, it might take longer and it might be a slower start. It might take you 6 months to get a 10k a month, but it's better than making 10k in your first month and then making nothing. Makes a massive difference.
Yeah, I think like I did have that mindset at the very start. I was like, all right, I need to, because I seen the other guys doing it, and they were like, oh, they've made 10 guys made 10 grand in 14 days, like Boggs and whatnot. He's made 10 grand in 40 days. What's going on in my life that I've not done that? But then over time, like I started to see, for me at least, for my business specifically, we some very specific principles that we worked to. And we effectively said that we were no longer going to be, or not ever going to get into the business of, well, not the blow up game, because the blow up game is important. Getting people blown up is part and parcel of the game. But we're not in it to blow somebody up for 10 minutes. We often say, like, to new clients, prospective clients, and even reminding our current clients, like, that we are in the business of making influence. Like, we are in the business of creating and selling influence through our clients. We're not here just to make them famous in one space or make them effective in one space. We build on them in every space they operate in. And it takes longer, and a lot of the clients are like, oh, but you know, other people say they can do X number in a month, and I'm like, that's great, I don't care about that. I'm not interested in what you should be interested in is thinking about how you can have longevity in the business. Speed is good, making profits is great, you can spend money fast, but if you can consistently make money, you can get paid, 5 figures a month every month rather than for 1 month, then what are you saying? Like, are you interested in that? Are you interested in getting paid 100 bags over 10 months, or do you want 10 bags now? What do you want?
Exactly. It's like sustainability. It's like the tortoise and the hare story. It's like, it's mad.
It helps us qualify clients as well, though, because like if they're in it for the wrong reason, we just don't take them. We just don't sign them, because it's not going to be a good relationship,
Was there any like surprising elements that you found in the business model of OnlyFans management?
The importance of the sort of socials aspect. Like, I never really understood social media before, and it's taken me some time to learn it. Like, it's taken me some time to really understand how media works. Like, I understood as a consumer what was happening, but not the mechanical aspects of why it was happening to me. So like, I understood, the sort of whole conspiracy thing. Like, I understand that Google's listening to me and I'm being marketed products. The other day, you guys were talking about being in Croatia, and then about an hour later, I got an ad on Instagram for a villa in Croatia. It's like, the Matrix is listening to me and it wants me to go to Croatia now. Like, I understood that sort of conspiracy nonsense, right? But like, I never understood the mechanical aspects of how do you actually determine that something's going to be what are the building blocks of virality? How do you manufacture virality? Because I always thought, oh, it's just luck. When I was going back to my sort of, oh, I'm going to be a Twitch streamer, right? And I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like, it's just luck. I always attributed it to luck. Or that guy was in the right place at the right time. And don't get me wrong, being in the right place at the right time is a factor. But you can also control what happens when you're in the right place at the right time. You can do something about it. You can do a little bit about it. You can do a lot about it. And knowing those sort of building blocks coming out of the mentorship, specifically sort of around like the 4th and 5th weeks, where it was all heavy marketing focus. How do you copyright properly? So that's something that obviously wasn't really in the mentorship. It's something I meant to seek out on my own. Like, how do you copyright better? How can I just be good at this? And sort of throwing my time into that as well whilst doing the mentorship, like, because I know that's a part of it now. I'm like, right, cool, I'm going to go and learn about this. On top, I'm going to basically figure out how I can write better ads, better captions. How do I do hooks properly? How do I get confirmation bias in? All of these terms and techniques that I didn't know about that I've then gone and learned about after.
How did the mentorship program actually like help with the initial challenges that you were facing? Like, obviously before you joined, I think you like briefly started in it. You'd like kind of started an agency.
So I had the business running. I had a client as well. It was going all right, and it was a scalability problem. So scalability for the client and scalability for the business in itself. Like, I had started a business, so I imagine I had started a lemonade stand, right, and I could serve one customer at a time. The scalability element was completely, I couldn't understand it. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was like, if I take on another client, I'm going to be half as effective on my first client. And I could hire somebody. That makes sense. That's an obvious thing to do. Then how do I train them? How do I deal with that person? Who is that person? Who do I trust? Like, and I had some people in mind and stuff like that. I had a couple of conversations with some people. Like, I rooted out, the sort of standard conversations. This is what I'm doing, and you can immediately tell if you're ever going to speak to them again after you've described the business to them, because they're like, some people go on that high horse and ride right off into the sunset. Other people sort of have stuck around, and I'm like, right, cool, these are the guys that are now in the business, and they're all having a great time. So the scalability was my biggest challenge. I could not comprehend how I was going to take my business of one client to a business of 20 clients now, fully managed, fully operated. They've got account managers that look after them. Like, that's stuff that you guys have helped me basically understand. How do you manage accounts properly? What's an optimal ratio for account managers to look after your clients? Like,
and are you still with that first client?
Yes.
Still with it.
Still retained.
That's sick, that is. And how much was she making then?
She was making about $200 a month.
Fair. And how much are you making now?
She's making about 35 grand a month.
That's crazy.
So,
that's wild. That is wild. Could you share a specific instance where you like applied a lesson from the program to your business?
I mean, I definitely can. There's loads of them. Probably the biggest one would actually be the chat game. Can I double down and talk about your new mentorship instead? Right. Like, so I had strategies in place to work with the clients to basically maximize their revenue through the chat space. Definitely, and it was effective. And I was talking about this with a lot of the guys the other day in one of the groups that I'm in, and I realised that the old strategy that I was using and the new strategy that you guys have been talking about in this new mentorship has went from taking us from like maybe 2.53 to 1 to up to 10 to 1. And so, not even in the original mentorship, but like looking again, I've sort of mentioned it before, but like taking that continuous learning approach.
Makes a difference.
I had a strategy that worked. I've learned about a new strategy. I've immediately implemented it, and I have immediately seen new results. And there's some stuff in there that we were also doing, but we hadn't joined other parts of it together. And creating that sort of cohesive, tested approach. You guys have obviously tested it extensively. We were trying to do bits of it, but then adding in that little extra bit, for example, it enhances what we're doing now, and it's like bang. And then we've managed to take stuff and build on that again. So like we've done 12 to 1 on one of the accounts recently, which is absolutely incredible. And it's because we took the strategy that you guys had basically formulated, and like, why don't we add this bit on and test that? We were always testing stuff, but sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. You just test and see what happens,
Like, that's a big thing. Like, I'll even buy stuff to this day, like programs, education, knowing that, yeah, I might know a lot of stuff in there, but even if I can learn like one little tweak,
Yeah.
like if that one little tweak is gonna like add an extra like 10K a month or wherever it is, it's gonna make a massive difference. It's always gonna be worth it. So like I'm always like adopting that growth mindset of like, for example, right, there's people out there that are probably making 1 million a month with OnlyFans management. That then there's probably like one thing or a couple things in my mentorship program that they haven't thought of, that if they just implemented it, they could then take it to 2 million. And like same, goes for anything there. You can learn something from everyone. Like even if they're in a lower position than you or wherever, like you can always learn. I generally believe that you can always learn something from everyone, and that's like a massive, massive unlock of like of thing. And the chatting section in the new programs is fucking insane. Like we put so much time in it. Like Adam, I say Adam put so much time and effort and energy into that. Shit was crazy. I think he was literally putting it together for like 3 months straight, just like on the graph. And yeah, it's nuts.
She's little face in the videos. He's buzzing to talk to you about it. Like, guys.
How did the mentorship program change the way that you approached managing the creators in your agency?
Well, I mean, I mentioned before that first client, like I was doing okay. I was managing alone. I had that scalability terror where I was like, oh my god, I can't scale. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I would say that's the main thing. Well, two things. It showed me how to actually move past just having one customer, doing a one-to-one relationship. It gave me the building blocks to understand how I can apply some automations and apply some sort of and sort of spread my portfolio across, so that I was like, right, I need to get other people involved now. Like I need to start assembling a team. Like I need to, I need to automate this, I need to automate that. But it also sort of gave me the sort of confidence to think about, right, how can I step away from this part and only look at this part? So like I do a lot of like I do the front end, right? I'll talk to the actual clients as they come into the business, but after that, like my business partner actually deals with most of them. It's my sister that works with me, like possibly I've seen her elsewhere, like obviously you met her. Some of the guys watching might have seen her elsewhere, but like she does a lot of the client looking after, as it will, because she's more in tune with them. Like she's more in tune with her specific issues. So like we operate, it's mad, but we operate like a mental health program, right, for the clients, because like it's a tough environment they work in, right. And it was my sister's idea, because my sister's like a big mental health advocate, and it was her idea. She wanted to bring in and she wanted to spend resources on it, and I was like, right, well, give me a proposal, tell me what it's going to achieve, how's it going to operate, and she wrote everything up for me, and I was like, this sounds good, it looks good, right, how can we actually apply this? But that's something that I wouldn't do. It's something that I don't, not because I don't have an interest in it, because I don't have the expertise to deliver it. Like I'm not, I'm a hyper analytical person, so if you come to me a problem and it's an emotional problem, I'm just going to tell you that, right, 2 and 2 equals 4, so you should be okay now. But that's not how it works. So like being able to sort of, hand stuff off in that way, and have the confidence in other people through leveraging information that I've got from somewhere else has been phenomenal.
No, makes a difference. Like having a client relations manager as such, like
it really does.
It does make a big difference. That was a missing piece, I think, for the first like 6 months of our business. It was kind of just like we wasn't really doing any of that, and it was kind of just all random. Like sometimes I would reply, sometimes Jack would reply, sometimes Adam would reply, sometimes Dean would reply, and then it was like, right, Dean's actually really good with this kind of thing, speaking to people. He's more of a creative, he's very emotionally intelligent, and he's also the oldest, so like, let's give Dean this role of being like client relations manager. Obviously he has a couple other hats that he wears as well, but like that was a big unlock. I think it made a massive difference, like almost instantly, to the clients and how they reacted and how they responded. And yeah, it just made a big difference.
Yeah, we keep open channels with our clients, and we're all in them. Like, so there's a sales manager in there, like the client relations manager. I'm in there as well, and we answer the questions that we see fit. Like sometimes I'll just leave them on red because it's not my question. Like if it's pressing, like I'll maybe tag someone to like, all right, I'll have a look at this now, but I'm gonna hand it over, just sort of so that they feel looked after and stuff, because that's important that that their needs are met. But like putting those pieces together and being able to say, right, well, do you know what, and it comes back to that initial lesson again of pace. Like it's like, so I know Nicole is dealing with something right now, but this is actually really important, so I'm going to bring her in and get her to help you through this issue, because this is a pressing issue right now. It needs to be dealt with immediately. Like, because the models they get it tough, man. They're the front face of the business, and they it's all well and good like you see on Instagram and you see on TikTok, oh yeah, all these models are rich and they're making so much money, blah 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 blah. They get some amount of hate as well.
Yeah,
They really, there's some horrible people in there. I think it's our job to ultimately protect them from those people a lot of the time, and to help them through if they don't, if we fail as that protection mechanism.
Yeah,
You know what I mean, I think it's important that we do that, and yeah.
Could you describe like a turning point, like a aha moment, like sort of during your journey through this industry?
Yeah. The moment I made more money than I could spend, basically, in the one go, pretty much.
That's a good turning point.
But I don't mean that in a sort of ha 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 ha, I've made all this money. Wait, what? It's more. Everybody I know had worked a job that was basically shitty. They didn't want to do it. Like, I'm one of the only people historically that actually sort of liked my job.
Yeah.
My job was actually really fun. Like, I got to do big projects where I got to make radical changes and do wild experiments basically on other people's time. Like, oh, let's just try this mad process out and see what happens. Like, doing it everywhere, like, and it was relatively interesting. My historical job was actually relatively interesting, but like Nicole, for example, used to work in a warehouse. She's a data entry clerk. She fucking hated it. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and that's a reality as well for 99% of people. They fucking hate their jobs.
Most people don't have a top end corporate job. Like, most people don't have a top end flying to different locations, going to different offices, just dealing with different people as they sort of see fit and doing the projects they want to do. Like, most people get sat in a chair and told to do the same thing for 8 hours.
Yeah.
If they don't do the same thing for 8 hours, like, well, you better enjoy homelessness then, because that's the only reason you're here, right?
Yeah, it's mad as well, because you say like a top end corporate job, which obviously it was, but then that's what a lot of people strive for, right? But then even that, like, you was making like 100k a year, and it's like that's what people are striving for. And when you make the type of money that you've now made, you realize, holy shit, 100k a year is really nothing.
I mean, yeah, it's, if you looking at the take home versus like what we do now, it's not. It's no.
It's crazy.
So I mean, it's not a thing. Like, I mean, it wasn't uncomfortable, and I know that a lot of people are uncomfortable in the world because there's not enough money going around, and there's some really poorly paying jobs that that are extracting massive value out of people and not giving them any money back, and that's the reality for a lot of people, and that was the reality, for example, for Nicole and a lot of other people that work with me now, and it was more about me being able to say to Nicole was helping out and stuff. She was just helping out. I had an idea for a full-time role for her, basically. I need you with me all the time. Like, I need you to be doing this, this, and this. That is the job I envision you doing. Yeah. Can you do that? And she was like, I can definitely do it. I was like, well, put your notice in, then you're finished. Yeah. Like, you work for this business. Like, you don't work for anyone else. You work for this. You work for yourself effectively. And as long as you can subscribe to the vision that I've got, then we're in the right place. And it was the same for all the other people that work with us as well now. Like, it's that was the real turning point for me, was being able to unlock other people rather than everybody's so focused on unlocking their own time, right? And when you unlock another human being's time, where it actually matters to them, it matters to me and it matters to them. Like, being able to just retire people,
it's more fulfilling.
Free will. It's extremely fulfilling. But like, and they all want to put into the business as well. Like, just being able to say to someone, you don't have to work anymore. Just sit down for 5 minutes. Like, I've managed to do that for a few people, and it has been. That was truly life changing. Yeah,
it goes back to the thing that we were saying the other night. Like, people don't realize that, like, in this world we primarily get paid for value, like the value we provide, the value we create. But people have the misconception that they get paid for their time, because that's how it's structured. Like, you work in Tesco, you have an 8-hour shift, you're getting paid £10 an hour, £80 a day. So they in that mindset instantly from a young age of thinking, the only way I can make more money is to work harder and to put in more time. Because right now I'm making £10 an hour at 8 hours. So if I just take on extra hours and do 12 hours instead, then I'm going to be making £120 an hour. But that's not scalable. And you have to realize that it's all about the value you create. And obviously the value you provide to the corporate job is higher than a Tesco worker. But then again, the value you provide now to the marketplace is way bigger again. Otherwise, the marketplace wouldn't be paying you and you wouldn't be making this kind of money.
Well, exactly.
So it's all about the value we provide that makes a massive, massive difference. And that's the one thing that you should be thinking of, is like, right, not how can I work more, but how can I, like, educate myself and provide and create more value, not how can I work more hours in the day and how can I, this is wrong. You have to completely change that mindset and unlock a different part of your brain to, right, I need to create more value to people, and this, and that's how ultimately how you're going to get paid more.
That was a big part of my old job, was to extract the maximum value from other human beings for the minimal cost. That was a huge part of my role, was to, how can I make everyone as efficient as possible with no cost or minimal cost to, make them 60% efficient, get them to 80%, get them to 90%, push them past 90% efficiency. Like, that's, you're getting into territory where you stop people from going for a bathroom break now because you're past 90% efficiency, and it's like, there's a really ethical question for me there, like, is that allowed? Like, but like the businesses that I work for, they were like, no, do it. Let's find a way to squeeze the maximum value out of every person on that floor, so that we can make money.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're taking a bathroom break, they're not making as money.
Yeah, exactly.
It's wild.
Yeah, exactly. Can you share then some of the achievements that you've had and some of the successes you've had since joining the mentorship program and since running the play with your agency?
Yeah, I mean, sorry. There's obviously financial achievements. I mean, I can talk about those all day, I suppose, but like I think the main achievements are actually building something sustainable, like I mentioned earlier. Like, we're a 6-figure agency now. We do 6 figures a month, and that's sustained. Like, I know it's gonna sustain because I can see the predictability in the numbers. Like, I now know that's gonna happen every month as long as we continue doing what we're doing. So the question is what do we do next, and how do we improve on that? What do we do for our clients now? What new clients do we seek out, for example, stuff like that. But like the sort of, I would say that the main achievements, and I sort of covered some of them already, is like just being able to retire people, like do stuff like this. So you called me and said, I'm going here and I'm going in 3 days. Are you coming? And I'm like, cool, let's do it. Like I mean, granted, I needed an extra day to set some stuff up, and I was a day behind you guys, but like that is not something that was feasible to me historically. Like, we walked around the other day and we were looking at it, sort of doing that people watching that we were doing. We're walking around, we're like, people save up for a whole year to go somewhere, maybe more, maybe for 2 years.
Like the guy I spoke to on the plane had saved up for 2 years to go to this holiday with his girlfriend.
Yeah, right.
And that was their only holiday in 2 years, and I was sat on the plane like sad, like holy shit, like this is really sad. And
that sort of, and that was me, even making good money, even with a 100k job, like that was me still, like not having to wait for stuff to happen. And it's like, right, you've called me up, I need to fly out here, I need to, be able to do stuff, whatever. That's no problem. Don't think about it, just do it. And that's an achievement in itself to me, like being able to, just do stuff, being able to freely do stuff, and being able to unlock that freedom for other people. Like, and it's not even big stuff sometimes it's little stuff. Like, my wife wants to get her hair done, do I have to check to see if it's okay? Or Nicole wants to, my kid the other day, we're going away in a couple of months, and it was like, oh, she needs new clothes for summer, and she's growing at like an unreasonable rate for a human being. Like, she's just about 400 feet tall now again, and she needed new clothes because all of her clothes are starting to not fit her, and it's like, right, cool. And normally there would be a question of how much can we spend. Just doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can just go and sort it out. Just go and spend what you spend, and we'll look at it later on.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not going to go to like Gucci or whatever. Buy her clothes. She's not going to buy her like a $2,000 outfit times 10. But it's like even
maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Yeah, maybe next year. Get Rihanna to personally shop for it. Like, but like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's that stuff where even buying like normally priced stuff, for example, is no longer something that is truly thought about. It's like, it's actually mad, because like I would say that's possibly not an achievement but an unlocking factor for me, in that I don't think about that stuff anymore. So I think about other stuff instead. I think about, right, how can I do this next? Where am I going with this? How can I maybe enhance that? Because I'm not busy thinking about how much it costs to buy dinner. And can I put that on my card without banging my overdraft, without incurring fees, without, So I would say the sort of biggest achievement is, I'm going to quote you now, right, is unlocking that financial and time freedom and now location freedom on the end of it. Like, it's mad to actually, to say the words, like, financial freedom, time freedom unlocked, Like, right, what do I do now? What do I want to do now?
Yeah.
What do I want to think about next? I'm not being forced to do stuff anymore.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely can't, like, not to sound like super cocky, but I actually can't remember the last time that I checked the price of something. Like, and like it's just crazy to be in that position to where, like, 3 years ago I was like, oh, can I afford this meal? Or I can't, like, someone would ask me to go out for food. I'm like, nah, I can't go out for food. Like, I can't afford it. Or like, oh, do you want to go away on a holiday? I can't. Blah blah blah. It's like it's the weight that gets lifted off your shoulders for, like, the little things, like the everyday necessities in life, where you don't have to worry about, like, that shit. That alone, once you get to that point, it lifts that much of a weight off your shoulders, and lifts that much of, like, it makes you, like, it gives you so much more clarity to where you can actually operate better and make even more money. So, like, I would say the goal for everyone should be to get to that stage to where the everyday expenses that most people have to think about, it doesn't matter, and you don't even have to think about the price. Because once you're at that stage, you have so much mental clarity to where it doesn't make a difference, and you can just actually focus on what needs to be done and the task at hand. And that's when you, like, really start to excel.
I think, interestingly, that's getting to that stage is not actually as far away as people think it is.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not.
It's if you can realistically say you're making about 10 grand a month,
Profit,
you're
yeah.
there. That you're there.
Yeah.
If you're taking home 10 grand a month, you're actually in that place
Yeah.
the majority of things. Like, you don't need to when you go and buy food at the shop, you don't really think about it because you know it's fine, it's covered.
Yeah.
Like, that being said, do you know what I mean? It depends where you're shopping, I suppose. If you go, if you go into like super high end shops and buy all your food there, you might need to think about it at 10 grand a month. But if you're living a normal life like a normal person, 5 figures profit is generally gonna stop you from having that
Yeah, you can be pretty
process.
free. It's very free, and, like, you can be pretty free at 10 grand a month.
Yeah.
It's not like an insane. You can't go and live a millionaire's lifestyle on 10 grand a month, but that's like the perfect stage to get to where you are free from the restraints of a lot of stuff. Like, you can't travel whenever and wherever you want, but you can travel a lot more.
Yeah.
You can't obviously stay in crazy places, but you can definitely travel and sustain it and be free 100%.
There is one defining achievement, actually, now that I've had a second to think about it. I don't know why I didn't say it right away, because it is the single greatest achievement in the business. And it is a financial one. Like, and again, not me, but the business, we as a unit, as a collective, client, you know, all the partners in the business, everybody involved, we generated 100k in 100 days.
Yeah, that's insane.
And then, like, bombshell for this new video, we done it again, but we done it 50 days this time.
Yeah.
So, like, we're in a place now where we know, like, I talked about scalability before. I know the scalability is working for us now, because we can generate revenue faster and faster every single day. And, like, clients that we're doing it for can't believe it's happening. Like, they are.
That's a good place to be in.
They're like, what and what are the questions that get asked most? Like, how and what? And I think we're now aiming to do a new sort of target where we're going to try and do 100k in 30 days. That's our next operational target we're going to do now. There's a lot of work to be done to pull that off, because I now see how to do it in 100. I see how to do it in 50. So how can we scale that, and how can we? It comes back to, like, my background. How can I lean the process out? How can I get the right client? How can I make the right moves? How can I do all that in the most efficient way to pull that off again and again and again?
Yeah. I think as this business, like, as you get bigger, it almost becomes easier in a sense. Like, especially in, like, the referral side of things, like, the more clients that you have that you blow up that sort of get influential and famous, it's so much easier then to just grow exponentially. Like, the hardest part is starting, and even if you compare it to other business models, like, it's not really that difficult starting off. You just got to get the momentum, but once you got that momentum and the ball's rolling, it is like a massive snowball effect where it just does almost get easier and easier and easier as long as you, like, sort of stay on the proven path, to where, like, you might start off, like, where you're doing outreach and you're struggling to get a client, but then eventually it doesn't even become, like, outreach. You end up actually just getting more referrals, and, like, at my age, you know, like, referrals is probably the biggest thing, where, like, we've blown clients up, and then they just happen to have friends that are also big, and they refer, and then they refer their friends, and they refer their friends, and it just becomes a massive thing. And that's, like, the it does become easier in terms of like
Yeah.
finding clients. It's just the little processes on the back that can become a bit harder when you are trying to scale, because you need to know whether you're going to scale by either adding more clients, is that how you scale, or do you scale by specifically focusing on like a lower amount of clients and just scaling their income, like what's easier, what's going to be beneficial, or maybe you do a mixture of both. Like it depends what you can handle as well. So it sort of becomes more, you almost do less work, but it's like less work, but the work that you do is like higher leverage.
Yeah, it's different working. Yeah, I think like that's definitely where we are, is looking at sort of, it's a different game now, because we still recruit, we still like, we still reach out to potential clients and prospects that we think are going to add big value and that we can work with.
Yeah, so
and we're selective in that. We don't just reach out to every single person on the
exactly.
internet. Like me and Jordan do a lot of the outreach, and we talk about how we have a specific client that we like. This is the type of client
avatar.
But there is an avatar. Choose your avatar. We chose our avatar. We know who we like to work with. The kind of not just like a, it's not even just an aesthetic thing. It's a personality. We're interested in a specific type of personality.
Yeah.
If that personality is you, on our website, nah. But like, if we're interested in a specific type of personality, and we stick to that religiously because it has worked for us. And we've got it now where we're looking for. We actually are recruiting again, but we do it in rounds, because if we don't get any referrals or we don't get a high volume of quality referrals through, but we get a lot of referrals through existing clients now, because our service provision is, not to self plug, it is phenomenal. The way that the guys operate in the team they're just so slick, they're committed, they're clinical, they get things done properly. Like our onboarding process, it's probably, like, it's outstanding. If you ask me, it's utterly outstanding. It's automated. Like, the girls just, when they come on board, like, they're always impressed by it. It's like, oh, this is also slick. It's it's super clean. I understand what to do. It's intuitive, right? Like, we designed it with actual clients to make it better, so taking their feedback and stuff on, and automated the elements of it so that they just didn't have to do stuff. And that in itself then breeds more. So if you just provide a quality service, it'll just breed more clients for you. They just come to you. It attracts more people to your business, because you're just doing stuff properly. And that's, again, I mean, we talked about it before, but it's so overlooked. Literally just do stuff right and you'll do well. Like, it's mad.
How would you say that your life or career has changed as a result of the program?
I definitely think differently now. Like, I've got a massive change in mindset, 100%. Like, I used to think in a sort of, in a two-dimensional way, I would probably describe it. Like, it was always, every day is effectively the same. I used to do, like I say, I used to do cool stuff, don't get me wrong, but like, and it was semi-interesting, but like, I used to be very two-dimensional in that, okay, I'm going to this place, I'm going to do this thing, and then I'm going to get to, the B point at the end of the day, and then the day's over and I do it again. I just look back on that same sheet of paper until I've filled in the 5 lines across the sheet of paper, and then the week is over and I get 2 days off. Whereas now, I work all the time, but in a much more relaxed way. So, like, I was really stressed out before, like, very stressed out a lot of the time. Like, my work was very stressful to me in that there wasn't enough hours in the day to complete it, but there was the expectation that it had to be done. And now there are enough hours in the day because I decide what's supposed to be done, and I just accept stuff that can't be done, rather than having that expectation placed on me by somebody that doesn't understand what can't be done, which was pretty much my entire life, because it was like, one of my jobs was to tell people what can be done, and then they would tell me, no, this can definitely be done, even though I'm telling them it can't be. So, like, I would say my ability to be happier in the space that I'm operating in, simply because I'm in control of it, is there. But the way that I now think is definitely more three-dimensional. Like, I'm thinking about moving left, right, and up at the same time, in that sense that I'm like, okay, it's not just about moving from left to right. Maybe even if it's just diagonal, like, I'm gonna make a diagonal move today. I'm gonna do this. But like, I'm constantly thinking about ways to develop the business, and we've come out here like learning about content creation and stuff like that before I came out, so that I could take better photos, so that Nicole wouldn't shout at me. Like, she's like, you take terrible photos. Like, you don't know how to smile in a picture. Please fix this. Just like says I look like Chandler from Friends. And I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah,
like please stop personally attacking me.
Yeah.
But like I just went and learned that stuff. And that stuff is something that to me ultimately was pointless. Like I think in my head I was like, I'm not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But it's like, right, no, you need to expand out and learn different skills so that you don't look like a mug when you're having your picture taken, or and then just learning new business skills, learning about automations. Like I've learned how to code now. Like I've just learned how to, in fact, rather than so. I'd say one big change is, because I used to always preach this but never actually done it, like if you need something done, go and get an expert to do it, right? Now I don't do that anymore. Now I just try and figure it out, or then ask an expert after, potentially go and buy a course and just learn how to do it. There are some skills that are too high level, right, and you just can't, you need to pay a guy. Ultimately that's going to happen eventually. Like I discovered that my Python abilities weren't where they were supposed to be, and I had to hire a developer, like because like I could do super basic stuff, but the stuff I wanted wasn't ever going to happen from me. Not with the amount of time I had available, but I was realistic about it, and I was like, right, cool, I'll go and get a guy. But rather than just thinking about, right, let's go and get a guy for this job, and this job, I'm like, right, how many of those jobs can I effectively do and learn something, and then get a guy for the rest, or a woman. I shouldn't be sexist. Like
sort of dabble in it first, and then
get an understanding for what they're actually doing as well. Like, so
otherwise you don't know what questions to ask before you find them. Like, don't just seek out the mentor straight away. Like, kind of figure out so you know what questions to ask the mentor, so you know if he's actually going to be a good mentor or not. Because otherwise you just shoot him blind, and that's why people get burnt when they buy shitty courses and say it's a scam and complain, because they didn't do the research. They don't even know anything about the industry itself. They don't even try and learn themselves or educate before. Ultimately, you're always going to have to seek out a mentor if there's something you want to pursue. Like for example, right, like obviously I joined Mike Barron's Inner Circle, which was $50,000, and that's ultimately because I wanted to understand how to scale the coaching side of things so I could help more people. But also, he's an 8-figure earner, I'm a 7-figure earner. I want to know how the fuck to get to 8 figures. So he must know something that I don't know. And like I said, it's all about access to information. He's just operating on a different level of information than me. So therefore, 50,000 is justified when I pay him that to learn from him. And ultimately, the ROI on that in the next 12 months is going to be massive. And that's something. But obviously, I understand this business. I understand how I could possibly get there. But I just want to sort of get someone that's going to just make the process easier so I don't have to make the fuck-ups and the mistakes. And I think that's with any industry. Like, if you want to learn to play guitar, have a couple of strums figured, try and just fuck around with it, then go and get a coach. In anything, like, I think you should dabble in it first. You understand the basics of the business. Once you've understood the basics, then go and seek out someone who's actually an expert, and you're going to determine if he's an expert by the questions that you ask him, because you have the basic understanding.
Well, that's exactly the call we had.
Yeah,
like we had that exact conversation where I had started the business, I had parts of it moving, I knew roughly what was going on.
Yeah.
And then I asked you a bunch of qualifying questions, and you asked me a bunch of qualifying questions, and then we just started going.
Yeah.
Like, because, it just made sense. Like, okay, well, he definitely knows what he's talking about, because he's given the answers to the questions that I've got, and they make total sense now. Now that I'm looking at it, that's actually what I need to do. And it was a really easy decision for me on that basis, like, to come prepared to the call that I booked in with you to say, I'm gonna make sure I ask questions. He's not asking me all the questions. Like, I don't know this guy. I don't know if he knows anything. Let's find out, sort of thing. Not in a challenging way, but in a healthy way to say, right, I need to figure out if I can actually work with this guy for a lengthy period of time. Because if I can't, if I don't believe what he's saying, I'm not gonna listen to him, and it's gonna be time wasted. So
because I've done it in the past where, like, I've jumped on calls with basic understanding of stuff. Like, let's just say, like, appointment setting, right? Like, I was looking for appointment set. Like, there's a lot of, like, staffing agencies that will staff you, like, appointment setters. I know, like, the very basics. Like, I'm not an elite appointment setter, but I do understand it, and I understand how it works, and I understand how to set appointments and all this kind of thing. Like, I went on a call recently, and I was asking the guy, like, the sales guy on the call who was meant to be selling me, I wanted to be sold because I need this fix, right? Like, in my agency, like, I want to get better appointment setters and this kind of thing. And, like, I was asking him easy fucking questions, and he just had no answers. And he was like, to be honest, you're the expert of your industry. I don't really know, blah, blah, blah. And I was sat there thinking, like, this guy doesn't even understand the basics, and he's trying to charge me $15K to get some appointment setters. And he even told me, like, we just train VAs from the Philippines, and it's $3 an hour. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was asking him basic questions, and he was not giving me the answers or the solutions to my problems. He was just putting it back on me. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, so could you provide any sort of key stats to illustrate your growth, you know, for example, like the creators you've managed, the increase in revenue, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we currently have room for 20 creators on board with the staff that we have available. We're managing 18 at this time, so we're scouting and you know, talking to a couple other potential clients and to fill up that last 2 spots, because we know that's what we can comfortably manage. And obviously I mentioned before, that's from one creator where I was terrified to take on another one because I couldn't offer them time, right? Yeah. It's like, so yeah, we've got the right body of people in place now to comfortably take on 20 creators, which is the number that I think is about right. But I don't want to take on any more than that, because I think it doesn't. I think it then becomes about the effectiveness and maximising the revenue for those creators rather than seeking out new creators to ultimately build the business out. That's my view of it. Maybe different for others, but that's my view of it. In terms of growth, 2 types of growth. So I'll talk about financial growth. Obviously, we've seen clients go from 0 to 100k in 100 days. We've obviously seen that. We've seen clients go from 0 to 100k in 50 days now. We know that, for example, we took on a client about a month ago. When we brought a client on, we were chatting about, right, what do we need to do to maximise your sort of revenue? How can we move you forward? And she was like, right, I'm doing $900 a month. This is what I'm doing on my own. I've never had an agency before. I've been approached hundreds of times, but yeah, and it was like we just approached her at the right time. We'd actually had our eye on her for some time, believe it or not. Jordan had reached out to her about 5 months prior and hadn't reset. And says, let's just try again. She's more active now. Let's have a conversation, see if she's interested. She had a meeting with us. She was interested in the service we were selling. Obviously, she's really keen based on what we were talking about. Yeah. And we took her on at the end of the month. We done 7 days worth of work. And we made about 5k on her in that first 7 days. Yeah. Then we done 20k in the next month. I think it was 17 in it, so we took a lapse, but we done 70. So we effectively 15x their best month in the space of a month. Yeah. And that shows growth to me, because it tells me that historically when we were taking on an account, we were slow to develop. We were like, oh, if we can do 3k in a whole month, that's really strong for us. Like, that's great. And if we could do that, with 10 creators, we're making a lot. Whereas now we know, if we can get the creator on board and they've got the right mindset and they're attuned to sort of our structure and how we operate, then we can 15x them effectively. Yeah, that's not to say we can 15x everybody. If you come making 100k a month, we can't 15x you. I know we can't, but I'm not going to claim we can, so that's fine. I'm not going to sell you a service I can't provide. But if these creators that are making a few thousand a month, I know we can 10x them now. I know we can do it, because we've done it several times. Yeah. And as long as they're willing to make that effort, and we're really transparent about that as well.
Yeah, that's a big thing. That's a big thing.
We don't hide the amount of effort it takes to get to that point. Because when we do a case study on the call where we show them this is the amount of effort that it takes to get there. Yeah, but the maintenance effort once you are there, this is what you need to do to maintain that. It's not the same thing. Yeah. And that, that's sort of, that was real growth for us. Again, we never done that before. We never really set those expectations, and we'd have to end the agreement with clients sometimes, because they were like, oh no, you're asking me to do so much stuff now. Lesson learned there. Let's just tell everyone up front what the actual requirement is.
Yeah, we started the same. Like when we first started, we would almost like hide it because we wanted to sign clients and make it seem like they didn't have to do anything. We almost made it seem like, we're gonna do everything, take all the weight off your shoulders. And then when it actually came down to it, it was like, we can't really get results. Like I kind of told her, I'd be like, I told her in the sales call that she didn't have to do this, and now we kind of needed to do it. And then we tell her, and she'd be like, what the fuck? I told. And it's just bad. Like, you've got to be transparent up front. This is a girl making 200k a month. This is exactly how she's making 200k a month. Not obviously giving her the entire thing, but this is the work ethic that's required to get to 200k a month. Are you willing to put her in? If not, then we don't even bother working with them anyway, because they're not going to be a good culture fit for us, because we want those types of people. Same. And it's a big thing, because otherwise you're just going to be wasting time. You could waste 4 months trying to get this girl to put in the work, and ultimately she's not going to get there, not going to scale. So it's easy to just cut the fat, in a sense, just go through and then find the ones that are actually going to put in the work, use, and just go all in on those clients and scale them. And it makes a massive difference, because at the end of the day, their job comes first, ours comes second, and it's not a dictatorship, it's a partnership, and they've also got to be willing to put in that effort and work so we can actually do our job and provide a good service, and that makes a big difference. I love working with these sort of newer clients that are, they see an opportunity and they're into it, but then when you actually realise what they're trying to achieve. My favourite thing is, like, one of my clients done it recently where we'd achieved all of our goals. We take in our goals at the start. That's one of my key points on the sales call that I do, is just to talk about what our actual objectives are. And some of them say, I just want to make more money, and I say, no, I'm not taking that answer. Give me a proper answer. Let's tie your objectives to some things.
awesome places. Where do you want to go? What are you trying to achieve? What are you doing? And we achieved all of our goals, and she came to us. She came to me, and she's like, "I've got new goals. Let's document them." And I'm like, "This is you're my favorite now."
Almost like manifesting.
Yeah, she is, but and she does it all the time. Yeah. Every time we go for a new goal, we do a whole thing now. I've got an actual exercise for it where I sit down with the creators, and I'm like, right, let's rank your objectives. What do you want to do first? What's most important? Is it helpful to your business? Is it helpful for your personal life? Is it not non-helpful? Then we shouldn't do that. And help them really realise what effective goal setting is, but how it can not just buying stuff for the sake of buying it. For example, buying stuff because it's relevant, buying stuff because it's important to your business and important to you, rather than just saying, I'm just going to go buy new cute outfits and spend 10 grand today. But does that actually help you though? What does that achieve for you? And this one client comes to me and she says, right, I'm going to do these things now. This is for content. This is just for me. That one's ranked lower now because I've admitted she's really transparent about that it's just for her. So she's like, great, let's do that. And a lot of my clients now do that, and it's brilliant to see.
So how would you describe your overall experience with the mentorship program, old and new? Just like overall summary of your experience.
So yeah, I mean, the original mentorship was a great group. All the sort of other people that were in it. It was a good environment, like good competitive environment. I've actually been fortunate to see the wider environment that you've created grow as well. You know, from a handful of people to hundreds of people in that conversation now. Where there's guys who are longer in the tooth helping guys who are sort of just getting into the game as well, helping out all the time, and you see them in that chat. It's always alive. There's always someone on to answer a question, which is really good. And I think the original, like I mentioned it before, the original mentorship was relatively solid. You know, the content was there, the structure was there. But looking at the sort of new mentorship, from sort of the experience I've had of it so far, it's 100x, man. It's definitely 100x improved. Like, the structure is there. Having those bi-weekly calls rather than weekly is probably more effective because it gives you more time to operate. And even if you're not getting the questions directly from Antlet speaking to you guys, it's like, cool, let's go and speak to the group now because the group is big enough to do that. So I'd say, like, from a sort of community perspective, like, you've managed to build a really solid community of individuals that are successful, individuals that are on the road to success, and they're all helping each other out. And again, it's a competitive environment, but everybody's pretty sound about it. Like, we're all in business. We're technically, it's player versus player here, but that doesn't mean we can't be on some kind of team together, which is interesting and really refreshing to see in the space. Like, I'm assuming that's part of your vetting process at the start. But
there's even a lot of people now in the inner circle as well that have even like gone into business together, where they've all had their own individual agencies. Like, I know Alex had his agency on it by himself from the 6-week program, and obviously even the 6-week program got better and better over time. And considering you was in the very first one, even looking back at the very first 6-week mentorship program, which obviously you've done insanely well just from that, but then go into like the 7th 6-week program that we did, because we obviously used to do one a month. Like, that was an insane difference, and then from that to what we've got now is like just complete levels, like just insane. And then it's mad because, like, obviously Alex did, like, I think one of the last 6-week mentorship programs that we ever did, and he was making like, I did a YouTube testimonial with him the other day, and he was making like 6.5k a month profit last month, and this month he was on to do like 10k. Then you've got Tom as well, who was doing 13k a month last month profit for himself. And then you had Luke that was making, I don't know how much he was making, but he was also making good money. And now they've all gone into business together and combined their clients and combined their knowledge, because they all have expertise in different fields. Like, Tom is like good at, like, Luke is good at like marketing and content, and then Alex is good at like chatting and operations, and Tom is good at like with like dating apps and this kind of thing. So now they've all gone into business together and formed, and there's a couple of people that have done that in the inner circle. There's a couple of people that have started their own agencies, done quite well, and then formed partnerships with each other. So even for stuff like that, it makes a big difference, because you can grow at a way faster rate when you have people wearing different hats. Like, even though you have it's like having a smaller piece of a bigger pie rather than having a big piece of a little pie, and you can just grow exponentially.
I say on a call sometimes when if we get challenged about, like, why should I pay you to do anything, and I say, well, we can 10x you. You get the option of having an orange or half of a watermelon, right? What's more? And like, it wins every time. You can't argue with that logic. Yes.
So what would you say then to someone that's considering joining the program?
Just hurry up and do it. To be honest, right? Nah. Excuse me. What I would say, I mean, if I was to go back through all the points that we've covered off there, some of the key ones, like the first thing to do if you are considering joining is to actually do some research. Like,
Yeah.
don't waste time setting up a call if you don't know what is happening in this space.
Because this business isn't for everyone. It's not for everyone.
Watch a free YouTube video, right? Understand some of the basics of what's coming. I mean, don't put a YouTube video every 5 minutes. So
yeah, literally go to my YouTube video that's like titled something like "How to Start and Scale an OnlyFans Agency." There'll be an updated one by the time this comes out, and it's literally titled something about starting and scaling an OnlyFans agency. So go and watch that and understand how the business model actually works before you go and do anything else.
And then once you've done that, I would then have a serious think about whether or not you are willing to actually do something to change your life.
Yeah.
Like, are you so comfortable just working your 9-5 or working your night shift job, God forbid, or whatever else it is that you're doing, that you actually think you want to do something, but you don't? You need to be certain of your conviction. If your conviction's there, then book a call.
Yeah.
And you know, speak to the guys that are going to pick that call up and have a conversation, a serious conversation. But before you do that, have a serious conversation with yourself. Am I going on this phone call to waste this guy's time and my time? Or am I actually going to think about, right, I've done some research on the business model, I have informed questions. Like, the guy, Dean's going to take your call, probably. Like, and he knows everything about everything. Bring actual questions, you know, that you can challenge him on in a constructive way. Like, I want to know about this specifically because I watched a video and, you know, that wasn't clear to me. Or is that in the mentorship? How am I going to learn about that? Is it going to take me, what's the sort of effort involved? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And just understand that the amount of effort that you apply is the equal to the amount of results that you receive.
Yeah.
Like, if you half-arse it, you're going nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. You've got, at the end of the day, I think people like are looking for that get rich quick, and in a sense, you can generally get rich quick with this business model. Like, it's pretty fucking insane. But people are really looking for that quick fix to where not only can they get rich quick, but they want to get rich quick fast with low effort. And like, you know, that's not even real. Like, it's not really real.
It's
and, like,
not low effort.
Yeah, lower, like, and also as well, like, people want that, like, oh, passive income. Like, passive income's not really ever good. It's always, active income's always better. Like, yeah, I'm technically making passive income now while my chat is a chat and models are making money. But, like, there's levels to get that sort of set up, and that's not how it starts. And I think, like, if you're someone that knows that you're not going to take action once you've bought it, then, like, just don't even bother, because you have to be willing to put in the work and put in the effort and take action, because otherwise you're always going to be in that position. And it's like the Tony Robbins quote, whether the pain of change is greater, whether the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. And people think as well, like, just, oh, because I bought this course or because I bought this program or wherever, because they've done that, now they think they're just instantly going to be successful without even putting in the work. They just expect, oh, I can buy this, put minimal effort in because I've got access to this now, and just be rich. And then it doesn't work like that, and then they start comparing their day one to everyone else's day 200, 300, and they're like, why am I not making? And they start to, like, eat themselves up, and they're like, this, like, Steven's making fucking 100k a month, like, why am I not even making, like, 10k a month? Like, and just, like, right, look at what you're actually doing on your day-to-day first. It's not about what you're doing, it's more about eliminating the shit that's not actually getting you anywhere in your day. So you really need to take a look at yourself. Like, if you buy a program and you're not having success with it, take a look at yourself, take a look at your day and see not what you're doing, but the stuff that you're not doing and the stuff that you need to get rid of out of your routine. Like, if you're going and watching Netflix and this and that, you haven't got time for that shit.
You're going to earn nothing reading your recommended list on Netflix. Yeah. You're going to earn something if you start reading the course materials you just purchased. Like, you're going to earn nothing sitting on YouTube.
Yeah.
Unless you're watching some sort of instructional video, I suppose. But like, if you're just, following the chain through watching memes, you're going to earn nothing.
Yeah.
Someone's earning from you.
Yeah.
That channel's probably monetized.
Yeah.
You are being the cash cow at that point, rather than seeking out where the cash is and taking it. Looking for those opportunities.
Yeah, I think it's even a big thing. Like, a lot of people just like to think that they're going to be successful, and a lot of people like to think that they're going to go somewhere. And by buying a course and taking minimal action, they still justify to their subconscious, like, oh, I'm actually doing something, I'm going to be rich. But it doesn't work like that, because there's a couple of statistics I seen the other day. I don't know the exact percentages because I'm not good at remembering percentages, but there was a percentage where a high percentage of people that buy online programs and courses never actually take them, will never get past the first couple of videos, which is fucking insane because you've invested your money into it. And that's also another reason why I tend to stay away from doing high value stuff for free, because when something's free, no one respects it and no one treats it as like, no one like values it, because there's no commitment when something's free. When you actually commit, and by committing I mean putting money on the line, you're now invested to want to do well because you've got something in the game, you've got some skin in the game. Whereas if I give you this for free, you might have some people that will implement and do it, but people just don't instantly. When something's free to people, we're not like, as human beings, we're not like, we don't put any value on it. So like, it's bad. And that's why, like, you know, like the mentorship program is expensive, but the reason it's expensive is not because the material in it, but I want you to make a big commitment to where now your back's against the wall and you have to make it successful. And I've proven that with multiple students that have done it. And yeah, it makes a big difference. And yeah, the other stat was that they did like a survey between like 18 to 22-year-olds, I think. And it was like 50% of them said that they were going to be millionaires by the time they were like 24 or something, or in the next like 5 years or something. And like 50% of people think they're going to be millionaires between 18 and 24. And it might have just been that. I remember like looking at the case study. It was a while ago, so I can't remember, but it was definitely 50% of people aged 18 to like 22 or 23, wherever it was, like, think they're going to be millionaires. And that's like fucking ludicrous. Like, that's actually delusion. Like, there's no way statistically, just going based off historic fucking evidence and stats, that 50% of those people are going to become millionaires. It makes no sense whatsoever. And that's what I'm saying by like, people just get stuck in that phase of like, I'm going to manifest and do this and blah, 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 but never actually take action, never actually apply. And they're really lazy. They just want to act like they go in some way and feel like they're on the right path. But in reality, they're not, and they're just making shortcuts, and they're just being lazy, and they need to sort this shit out.
Yeah, you can manifest all day, but if you're not willing to take a couple of steps over to where it is, you're not going to be able to pick it up, are you?
Exactly.
So,
yeah, it's exactly. It doesn't work like that. You can't just fucking sit there and say, I want to be a millionaire, and then you're going to be a millionaire. Like, you could say it every...
I'll just wait on it to happen.
Yeah, you could say it every day for the rest of your life. It's not going to happen. Like, it doesn't work like that. It's just not how it works. What advice would you give to new students joining the mentorship program to maximize their success in this industry?
Well, you pretty much just covered it.
Yeah.
It's about having like I said before, have a serious word with yourself, right? About whether or not you are actually committed to doing something that will have an effect on your life. Like, do you want to work for someone else, or do you want to work for you and do the things that you want to do and go to the places you want to go? Like, do you want to be able to unlock that sort of freedom for other people around you, or even just for yourself first? Like, I was actually the last person to unlock freedom. Like, I unlocked everybody else before I unlocked myself, because I was in the most fortunate position. So, like, a proper sainthood coming on me. I was like, right, everybody around me that can be effective should now be unlocked before I go anywhere. And we done that, and that's sort of how we done it. And I was like, but I felt good for me. I was you know, I was super happy about it. But it was like thinking about that, like, right, how committed am I to making this work without actually seeing any pay from it? Interestingly, it's like, I need to pay everybody else. I don't get paid, like, because, you know, I'm gonna get paid later. I know I am, because I'm committed to doing it. So having that ironclad absolute resolve to just, I am committed to doing this now, is the first thing that you need to basically figure out. If you don't have it, then just, well, either get it or just don't do anything, basically, because you're not going anywhere. And then secondly, just network your ass off all the time. Like, speak to people who
provide value as well. Like,
speak to people who are your competitors and exchange information. Make sure that you're providing as much value to another person as you're taking from them all the time, and you will get on so well in your life. Like, if you, rather than coming into my DM, I had a guy in my DMs the other day asking me for information, and I was like winding him up. I was like, I'm going to sell this as a course, mate. And he was like, of course you are, of course you are. You make me laugh. And I'm like, well, you're just trying to, like, you're just trying to rip information out of me.
It's called reciprocity.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's a big law, and it's a big law of the universe, reciprocity, and it works really fucking well.
Just don't be in my DMs asking for everything I know. I'm not going to spend time writing that down for you. I don't have time for that. Like, I'm busy. Like, I'm, you know. And the guy was,
what you give.
Yeah, the guy was so mad. Like, he was like, "Oh, you're the same as everybody else. You're the worst guy." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool." But yeah, just like be willing to have that value exchange all the time, and seek it out. Actively seek it out in conversations. Give value exchange all the time to everyone around you. And don't just seek out higher value individuals as well. Like, don't seek out guys who are millionaires just to get information from them. Like, make sure you've got someone on the table. Like, oh, I've got this idea. Like, you may be interested in it. Like, has this worked for you, or what has worked for you in the past? Because this is what I'm thinking about doing.
Yeah.
Rather than, can you teach me how to do your business, please? Have a great day. That's
and don't fucking message people that are in my position. Can I come and work for you for free? Please, I'll do anything. That is the most annoying message ever. Like, firstly, like, why is a millionaire gonna hire you for free? Firstly, by saying, can I work for you for free? You're already telling me in the first sentence that you have no value to provide. That instantly says you have no value to provide. You're just going to be bugging me. You're going to make my life harder and more difficult. And I'm pretty much going to be mentoring you for free. Why the fuck would I do that? Like come with a plan of action first. And it just makes no sense why people have the mindset of like, oh, can I come and work for you for free? Like, if I want a job done, I'll go and hire an expert to do that job for me.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, oh, can I come and work for you for free in marketing or content creation? What's your experience? I haven't got any, but I was open to learning this. Why would I give, like, why am I going to test dummy you on my business? It doesn't make any fucking sense. I'll just go and pay someone. It's not like you saying to me to work for free. I get the angle you're coming from. Like, you're trying to think, oh, I don't want to, like, it's not an expense. Don't worry, I'll work for you for free. I'll put my hours for free. But like I said, you're not getting paid for your time. You're getting paid for your value. And if you're not bringing any value, then it's not worth it to me. So, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I would rather go and pay someone because it's going to be less headaches. They're already going to know what they're doing. It's going to make me more money. And you working for free, you're almost a detriment to me. And I, like, if you're someone that does that, please stop doing it. Because I understand where you're coming from, but it's never going to work, like, ever. Like, if someone's actually successful, there's no way they're going to let you work for free unless you're providing serious value.
I can confirm that. I just ignore those ones. I don't answer
all the time. Ignore them. I never even answer them. You will not even get a reply, like, at all if you message me that, ever. It just doesn't work. But yeah, anyway, we're going to end it there. Appreciate you coming on, Steve, and hope you all enjoyed it. Hopefully you got some good insights from it that you can take away and implement into your agency. But other than that, I'll see you on the other side. Peace.